another edition of It's Wrestling Report, alongside my dancing partner Quad. I'm your host, Jamie. On this edition of IWRshow, we do a 2012 TNA Lockdown preview coming this Sunday on pay-per-view. Definitely one of TNA's biggest pay-per-views of the year and looking pretty solid this year going into it, and we're going to run down the card for you. First matchup, we have the Knockouts title line. One champion, Gail Kim, goes up against former champion Velvet Sky. Velvet finally getting her rematch, as she was saying, after she lost the title after the kind of Bound for Glory period there. As far as the winner here, I'm going to go with Velvet Sky. I really think they've set this up to where it's really kind of looking almost predictable that she's getting on a roll here, and it almost looks like she's definitely going to win the Knockouts title here. I think Gail has had a great run as Knockouts champion, really getting in there with kind of subpar talent to her. That's really, what's going to be happening here. Obviously going in there, she's just better than everyone else. It just is what it is. But she's provided, at least a stable Knockouts champion as stuff in the past. We haven't really gotten out of that, but we are getting it with Gail. And I would love to see Gail. Actually, I love both of them, but I'd love to see Gail retain here. But I'm going to go with Velvet Sky as your two-time Knockouts champion in this matchup.
Yeah, you would love both of them.
Yeah.
You hear that? You hear that in the distance?
I don't hear anything.
Call it the Gail Kim train. This bitch is going to keep rolling.
Toot.
Going to keep rolling. Pretty much just going to, TNA's pretty much going to go F-U WWE. This is what Gail Kim can actually do.
Yeah.
Beat Velvet. Like J-Man said, it's so predictable. I'm thinking the opposite. So
Could happen.
Gail Kim's looking like a beast.
Next match.
Beast Death.
Yeah, there you go.
Beast
So, female version of Beast. There it is. Next matchup, for some reason, we have the TNA television title on the line between new champion Devon and former champion Robbie E.
Ooh, that can be a good match. I mean, 5 stars.
Why the fuck? I mean, just this championship is useless. These people in this match are useless. There's just no need for it. Devon will probably retain, just winning it, I think, last month or some shit off Robbie E. There's no need for any of this. I mean, you got a guy like the Pope sitting in the fucking back with his thumb up his ass doing absolutely nothing and just talent out the wazoo, and you've got a guy who doesn't need to be wrestling anymore and a guy who's the fucking one of the worst characters in wrestling right now. It's just like, this is just ridiculous. I mean, we've gone over it a million times that this title has no credibility and no use, and these guys really in here have no really use and no one gives a shit. So I guess I'll go with Devon, winning this in, a match that I will not give a shit about.
This match is probably usually, if I was attending this pay-per-view, is when I usually get food or go to the bathroom. So,
Yep. He's not going to give a winner.
How about the X Division title? Where's that at?
Yeah, we got the X Division champion.
Yeah, that's buried. So, how about the Pope? Just the Pope sitting on his ass. What about like anybody like Amazing? Oh yeah, you erased.
He got fired. Jay Lethal got fired.
He got fired
too.
So we watched a dude from ECW, my favorite company, and a dude whose character is off of a rip-off, or it's a rip-off of a reality show, which is fucking stupid.
That has no connection to wrestling. But yeah, we have to see.
But like you said, no connection. So I'm gonna give TNA 2 thumbs up for this title.
I don't think those are thumbs.
In my world, they are.
Gotcha. Next matchup, we have a one-on-one match here. Obviously, all these matches in steel cage. I don't have to go over it a million times. You guys all know. Between Crimson and Matt Morgan. Obviously, these former partners and the guys that I guess TNA forgot that's how they ended up becoming partners as kind of a mutual whatever kind of bullshit. But they ended up feuding in the past, became tag champions, tag team partners, and now they're feuding again, except they flipped it to where Crimson is heel out of this. I think that's a smart move. If they're going to really go anywhere with Crimson, they needed to, do something different. I think flipping him heel could be really interesting to see how he kind of plays the character up. If he could, provide that kind of side of a, wrestling character to that, because we haven't seen him be able to play that yet. Matt Morgan is what Matt Morgan is always going to be. He's going to be that guy who's just there. He's not going to move up anywhere. They tried to do it in the past where he could go for the world title. No one gave a shit. It's just he's going to be that guy just stuck in that kind of mode that he's been for the last couple of years. But Crimson, I really think, has an opportunity to advance up in his career. He's young in his career, and I think he has a lot of potential. And we've said it a million times that, this guy has a lot of talent and has seen promise in a lot of his matches. And I think it would be really, really smart to give Crimson the win here. I think it would be just absolutely, it's just pointless to give Morgan the win here. I think they need to build off Crimson and really, build him up as kind of a badass heel. I think that'd be pretty cool to do. But this one's really probably not going to be special at all. But hopefully Crimson gets the win in this matchup.
Probably the smartest thing you could do is give Crimson the win. Like J-Man said, with the Crimson still moving up, Matt Morgan's kind of on the back end of his career, kind of this I don't know if he's gonna.
He's a young guy. It's just
he's young, but like he's pretty much just been there, just in the background. He really hasn't been. Like, I tried to push him to the main event a couple of years ago. Really didn't do much. Everybody was just like, I really can't see him as a world title holder. It just seems awkward. I don't know. Yeah. It just seems like an awkward person. So I see Crimson winning this. Hopefully. Next
matchup, we have the TNA Tag Titles and Line 1 champions Samoa Joe and Magnus go up against the returning Motor City Machine Guns. We've talked about it a million times. Huge fans of the Motor City Machine Guns. They're probably probably outside the Briscoes, my favorite tag team in the business right now. They just, provide entertaining, high-octane stuff every time we're out there. You guys know what it is, and it's great to have them back in what is stagnant and basically no tag division in TNA right now. They have 3 tag teams. At least, put together credible tag teams right now. And they need to really gain off that with having one of the best tag teams in the world return. You need to put stuff around them to be able to work with them. And I think this could really provide a really great matchup here with the talent that's in there. And, bringing the Motor City Machine Guns right back in 2 weeks before lockdown, having them get into this match, I think was a smart move. They need to have him in there. The crowd loves them, and I think it's a smart move. And I think it's also a smart move to give them the TNA tag titles right here. I think that everybody just loves them, and I think it's a smart move to, everybody would want to pay attention more to the tag division. And if they build more teams around them, they could go out there night in and night out, like we saw with the Beer Monies or, the British Invasions or the Team 3Ds, everything in the past we've seen with the Motor City Machine Guns and the great matches they had. They need to build something around them so they could night in and night out have those constantly, great matches, which they always provide. And I think this could be really solid. Great to see them back. And I see the Motor City Machine Guns right off quickly to the bat, getting the tag titles here, even though it's really a quick turnaround from Joe and Magnus winning the championship here, and they start to look like they could start to gain some chemistry. But really, this team looks really weird to me, and I never thought it was structured, correctly and made a lot of sense. But if they could flip this around and maybe, make a feud out of this, I think that would be, interesting to see, because I think these guys could have some really solid matches, all the time, and really, recurring over the weeks and over the months and pay-per-views and stuff. But I have the Motor City Machine Guns, your new TNA Tag Team Champions.
I see Joe Magnus retain. With Machine Guns returning like this, Machine Guns is like the cornerstone of the tag division. They faced everybody that came their way and they beat them. Yeah. So I think they need to get some of these, not like extra, like I guess high flyers, and have it more like Machine Guns, and just start making these tag teams. Because like Jamin said, there's only really 3 real good tag teams with Mexican America, Joe, Magnus, and Machine Guns. Yeah. Because you lost all of them with the Beer Monies, and everybody else started like splitting up, Morgan and Crimson. So with Joe and Magnus retaining, I see this feud continuing hopefully, and we'll see some good stuff coming soon. Yeah.
Next matchup, we have a singles matchup here between Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy. Really looking forward to this one. We've seen Kurt Angle in these singles matches over the past couple lockdowns that have really produced some really great stuff. Remember the one that we attended live in 2010 with him and Mr. Anderson was a really great match that they talked about throughout the entire year. And I really think these guys can provide that and really equal those kind of great matches that we've seen. Because, this is Jeff Hardy's element, the kind of extreme place where he could really, showcase his talents that he really has and being the kind of high-flying, daredevil that he is. But I really think that Kurt Angle getting in there with the Jeff Hardy in this situation, as we've said a million times, he makes them work and he makes them, wrestle. He doesn't make them get all crazy and shit, but he can get crazy in the element that they're in. So I really think this can produce a really solid match, possibly a show stealer on this card, and something that we could really look back on as, really solid stuff. But as for a winner, I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy. Obviously, Kurt Angle getting that kind of cheap win at the last pay-per-view. It really looks like it's going to set up for a Jeff Hardy win here. But another match on this card that I'm looking forward to, and I got Jeff Hardy winning on this match.
Even though Kurt Angle has a torn ACL, MCL, pretty sure he could wrestle on one leg and do better than Jeff Hardy can any day of the week.
You do better about 85% of the roster.
Pretty much, yeah. So, but I'm guaranteeing something right here. Right here.
Quad guarantee.
Quad guarantee. Kurt Angle will attempt to do moonsaults off top of the cage.
Oh, that's going to happen.
So I called it. Called it right here. Right here. I see Kurt Angle winning.
Okay. Next matchup, we have Lethal Lockdown featuring Team Garrett Bischoff versus Team Eric Bischoff. Team Garrett featuring Garrett Bischoff, the phenomenal AJ Styles, the X Division champion, Austin Aries, Mr. Anderson, and the returning RVD on this past Impact. And Eric Bischoff's team featuring Eric Bischoff, Christopher Daniels, Kaz, Bully Ray, and Gunner. And in this match, if Garrett's team wins, Eric has to leave TNA and renounce the Bischoff name, which just means he can't, say that he's a Bischoff or something. That's fucking stupid. And if Eric's team wins, Garrett has to leave TNA. I've never seen a Lethal Lockdown match where the talent on a captain's team so overly just trumps the captains. I mean, if you just cut the captains off these teams are amazing. I mean, you got AJ, Aries, Anderson, and RVD on one team, Daniels, Kaz, Bully Ray, and Gunner on another team. That's really solid names, and really a lot of their higher, up on the card names in this Lethal Lockdown. And I really think that a lot of these guys can really thrive in this kind of atmosphere. Obviously, we've seen, AJ and the Daniels be in tons of these Lethal Lockdown matches, and also, seeing guys like Mr. Anderson, all this kind of stuff. Bully Ray obviously fits in that element, and now seeing a guy like Austin Aries in this element will be really interesting to see. But as for a winner, I'm going to go with Garrett Bischoff's team getting a win here. For some reason, they just want to build him up. I don't really know why. He's not talented. He really doesn't provide anything that I could give a shit about, but his dad's running the company, basically, so that's why you see him there. But it's definitely going to be everybody else that's going to be shining through in this matchup with all the other talent that's going to be in here. It's going to be great to see some really interesting stuff and, back and forth stuff with some of these guys that we haven't seen in quite some time. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This one could be really interesting, too. I just hope it's not a big shenany kind of bullshit fest with, Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair. Hogan will probably be out there, and Garrett and all this bullshit. And hopefully we could just focus on the talent that's in this match because there's a lot of it. But I'm going to go with Garrett Bischoff's team getting one here.
Bischoff's name is really not that talented. If you think about it, neither one of them can really wrestle. They're pretty much just there because they have somewhat of a mind of wrestling. So, so Bischoff versus Bischoff. Like Jamin said, how about we just make this like Team AJ versus Team Gunner or something? Something where we don't need the Bischoff name, or if you lose, you can't wear white underwear anymore. But if you lose, you have to go milk a cow. It makes no sense. Why put gimmicks on it? Like put little stipulations on this bullshit. Yeah. Make it a Lethal Lockdown. I've never seen a Lethal Lockdown where there's stipulation behind Lethal Lockdown. So I see Bischoff winning this.
It's a good pick.
So I'm hoping
you're not going to give the first name. You're just going to say Bischoff.
Garrett.
Gotcha. Going to go with Garrett Bischoff winning this matchup. Next matchup, we have the main event for the TNA World Championship featuring champion Bobby Roode going up against James Storm. These former tag partners, tag champions, best friends. And going into this, I believe everything that this is built to, everything that this is going into has provided one of the best builds and, just feuds going into a matchup that we've seen possibly in TNA's history. Definitely, at least in the last 5 years. I think these guys are so in the right spot and have been built up the right way to get to this point and get to this moment. I've been telling these guys for 5 months now that I've been waiting for this match because I knew that they'd be building to it, getting to this lockdown and the setup that they had with the history of having Bobby lose to Kurt Angle, Bound for Glory, and then having James Storm win the title, and then having Bobby beat him and have this long run where he's been this selfish champion of this selfish generation and getting these kind of the cheap wins and here and there. And James Storm has been building himself up as a true main eventer, and Bobby Roode has become a great world champion, and both these guys are definitely up there in all of professional wrestling as, legit main event guys from here on out because TNA has done such a great job of building these guys up. And, I know a lot of people just shit on everything that TNA does, but they've done this perfectly and they've done it beautifully. And I just love how they picked the right two guys at the right time to start to build up that we haven't seen in the past as far as singles guys because they've been one of the best tag teams in, history. And, James Storm has been in another best team in history in AMW, and these guys have just built up in TNA beautifully. And I really thought it came to a head at this last Impact, at that ending segment that we saw with just the passion that these guys show is just immense, and it's really great. And I really thought that ending segment this past Impact was one of the top 10 ending segments in Impact history. I just loved how they portrayed everything that they're talking about, the story that's behind it, the build that's behind it, the past that they have. It's been just beautiful, and I cannot wait for this matchup. And I really think these guys really to themselves have something to prove to some people, not to us, because we know how great they are, and we know what they are as far as main eventers now. But to people that doubt them and to people that don't think that they should be where they are, they're going to go out there and prove these people wrong and really put on a solid match. And I'm really looking forward to this because I think this could be some really great stuff and stuff we look back on for a really long time. As for a winner, being in Nashville, being everything that's been, going for James Storm, it's been all looking like it's going towards him, and I really do think that James Storm is going to get the TNA World Championship here. Going to get another run and really get a solid run to build off instead of the 2-week run that he had. But Bobby Roode has been a great champion, and James Storm, I believe, will be a great champion going into the future. But these guys have just provided some great stuff over the past month or so, building this feud up, and it's going to lead to this great matchup inside a steel cage, and really has the feel of kind of an old school kind of NWA cage match where you kind of got the cocky, kind of arrogant, cheap kind of champion in Bobby Roode, kind of like a Ric Flair, and you got the kind of outlaw, the cowboy kind of, doing things his own way, kind of against authority, and James Storm kind of like a, Dusty Rhodes or, Barry Windham or something like that. You kind of got that old school feel in this, and these guys provide that old school kind of feel, just the way their characters are and the way they present themselves, and it's great to see, and we haven't seen in modern wrestling in quite some time. But I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be some great stuff, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it, and I have James Storm, your new TNA World Champion.
It's going to be a slobber knocker. I'm calling it right now. With these two, with the history they've had with the beer money and the past tag teams, since it's in Tennessee, it's going to be, I'm saying it's going to be probably best match of the night. Just the way it's all set up, like Jamin said, with the ending segment, there's nothing better that could have done. And with these two guys, there's only a handful of guys you could put with a feud like this, and they could build it by themselves.
Yeah. You
really don't need to do anything. They could, just the way they talk and the promos they cut. So I see James Storm winning this, especially the way Robert Roode ended it by bringing nothing's off limits with these two. So bringing out the family, and this is once they get in that cage, it's just going to be a whole. I can't even tell you. It's just going to be crazy. So. James Storm winning this one.
Going to be great to see. I'm really looking forward to it, and it should be some really special stuff. This will now wrap up our 2012 TNA Lockdown preview. Be sure to check out our instant review after the pay-per-view Sunday. For my, again, dancing partner Quad, I am your host, J-Man. Thank you for watching another edition of the Answer Wrestling Report, your source for fresh wrestling news, information, opinions, and scenery.
This is a battleground!